And here we go as we get ready for game number 2 in the grand finals of the BattleDex Team Liquid StarCraft 2 Open, where 512 players began. And now we are down to the final 2, where Optikzero, our Protoss player, is already up 1 game, loading in to the next one. We'll pause it, do our countdown, and then we'll get started. First prize is going to win $100, and not too shabby for a Saturday afternoon. Are you ready for the countdown, sir?
Yes, let's do this.
Let's do this countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we are underway. Like these positions here as we get started on Metalopolis, we have got our Terran, AhhBoxxah, who looked like he might be able to squeak out a win early on, but eventually the Protoss was able to stop his push and, well, create a push of his own to win. He is going to be playing as the pink Terran, and his opponent up here, the teal Protoss, Optikzero, up 1 game. Let's find out what he's got in store for us on Metalopolis.
You know, just something I want to bring up that I noticed in the game against Master Asia, and I noticed again in game 1 of this series, is that AhhBoxxah maybe needs to work on his fundamentals just a little bit. If you take a look at his hotkeys as the game progresses, you'll see he only uses 1. And he's not one of those typical players that puts his entire army on 1. He only puts the infantry on 1. The other units are unhotkeyed. So against Master Asia, he had 1 as Marines, 4 as medevacs, nothing else hotkeyed, no tanks, no other support units. And now I'd really like to see him kind of step up the game and really focus on unit control. And I think that's really giving him problems. He can't control his army as well as he could if he broke those units down to like 1 Marine, 2 Marauder, 3 Tank, 4 Medevac. So that's something I'd like to see him step up if he plays in future TL Opens.
All right, something to keep in mind there, something for him to improve on. Early probe does get a quick scout here on our Terran player, and when you've got that early probe coming out, you also throw off your opponent, like where exactly did he come from? So as we see this SCB go out, I think that was the smart decision. Go counterclockwise here. He might have come all the way from that close position, or he is cross positioning. As probe is not doing as much as he did in some of the previous games here with that early scouting. The barracks was down well before, and the first Marine is already out. Over on the Protoss side, Gateway just went up, Cybercore going down as well, and it has just started here. So the early moments of our game number 2. But with these cross positions, I would be willing, you know, I don't know, maybe that Banshee play will be attempted here once again by AhhBoxxah. It could be good on this map. I don't know that necessarily marching his Marines across is going to be the best play, but it seems to have worked out best for him in this tournament. So
I'm really surprised with AhhBoxxah finding out that they're not in close ground position. So he scouted 3 o'clock, found that his Protoss opponent is not there, and then he placed the second barracks. I'm really surprised about that because he knows the ground rush distance is either going to be cross positions as it is, or relatively a long rush distance getting to 9 o'clock. So going with any sort of early ground rush, not always the best idea. We can see he's going for a second barracks. Is there an add-on going to go on that? Yes, he's putting the reactor, so he's doing a variant of the Zadok build. Let's see if he goes for Stimpaks or concussive shells with his first 100 gas. Hasn't researched anything out of that tech lab quite yet, getting a Marauder and Marine. So this really looks like the makings of an early attack, and I don't know how well it's going to do in cross positions, but look at this. Yeah. Actually, a fast expansion going down for Optikzero. Now, you can hold this if you go fast expansion and then 2 gateways and a robo. You can get a single immortal out just in time to hold this push. The timing is very tight, but with cross positions, everything is in Optikzero's favor. But he's going to have to be really, really crisp with this timing.
Yeah, and he is going for stim, so we've seen this coming out by more Terrans as of late, this really, really early stim and getting it out as quick as possible. But I have to agree with you. He's already going to be pushing forward here with just 2 Marauders and 2 Marines. And I have a feeling with even, well, 1 Stalker out, we've got another Stalker being chronoed. And then here, of course, we've got the 2 gateways and the robo, just as you said. Making their way across the map? No, he's got to build this army up before he can actually dedicate to a push. It looks like he might be... I mean, I don't know. I feel like he needs to have a little bit more, because I think exactly what you had mentioned is going to happen. We've got that chrono boost. No, we're going to have an observer coming out first.
That is a big misstep for Optikzero. When you do this build, you really need to chrono out the first Immortal. If you catch wind of any sort of Marauder Marine push coming, looks like he's going to get the benefit of it as AhhBoxxah not pushing out here, putting down a command center and a barrack. So if he does not attack here, despite scouting the fast expansion with the scan, that's really going to play into Optikzero's favor here. Now getting the warp gates, this is when the Terran attack should be hitting, right when the warp gates finish. If you attack after this, it's too late. And with Zealots and Stalkers out, and now he can reinforce out, chrono boosting out that Immortal, I feel like Optikzero has secured his expansion. He's going to be fine against this early pressure, and that is a big misstep for AhhBoxxah if he attacks into this.
I think he is definitely going to attack into this, but the positioning of this army will actually come into play here for Optikzero. We've got that first Immortal so close to being completed, and that actually may play into his favor. If he doesn't see it there, he could commit to an attack, and then, of course, the Immortal just pops, but don't push out. Oh, my God, he pushes all the way forward and deciding not to fight on his. He will manage to take out a couple of these Marauders, but look at that. I do not agree with that aggression right there. I think that he probably should have played back a little bit. Of course, he will have this Immortal coming out now, but he's got to protect that, being the only thing out. He has pushed back AhhBoxxah, though. So in looking at his base and seeing where he's going with this, he's got a factory just now going down, and we do have a Ghost Academy up. Do we have any ghosts actually out on the field? I don't see any out yet, and none. There's our first one in production right now. So, of course, EMP really big against the Protoss army, but, man, Optikzero, I think, threw away a possible advantage there.
Yeah, a little bit. He was in no threat of being attacked there. He didn't need to push forward, especially without sentries. If he had 2 sentries with 2 force fields each, I could completely justify that attack. He could force field around, get the Zealots right up, and stop the kiting of the Marauders. But as it was, he was just donating Zealots out to the Terran army. Terran now has a comfortable expansion up, but Protoss is getting the Robotics Bay, getting out another Immortal. He's got 4 warp gates up, so I feel like he's still a little bit ahead. Terran is kind of trying to comfortably get up to the starport, which he has not got out yet, so he can get those medevacs out. He hasn't reached that point yet, so he's not going to feel absolutely comfortable. And look at this observer sitting over the natural of the Terran natural, just Optikzero seeing everything that's going on with AhhBoxxah. He sees the Ghost moving out, and the Ghost now has enough energy to EMP as it's at 74, 75, but Optikzero should be aware of this. He should be bringing out sentries and Zealots, and that's exactly what he's bringing out to deal with this. Very, very nice.
Yeah, he moves forward just a little bit, sees a Marine, and goes, oh, man, the last time this happened, I lost a lot of units I shouldn't have. And so he is going to go back to his base and let his opponent, AhhBoxxah, go ahead and continue to rally here to this bio units here at the gold. He is going to move forward, and this EMP will be incredibly important. He's going to stim 1 Marine forward to get a good eye of the army. He sees it and immediately goes after that Immortal. Have not yet seen the EMP. There we got it. It completely missed that Colossus, though. Oh, great focus fire on the Colossus as it goes down, but it just wasn't enough units. And look at that, warping in to try to cut off. If only he had charge right now, he would be absolutely raging the rest of that army, but alas, he does not. He could potentially push with that and I think finish the game.
Yeah, the harvest count is exactly even. I'd like to see Optikzero play for the late game and put an expansion down, but looks like he has no plans for that moving forward with his 2 Immortals. Just wants to end this. He's got the Observer so he can see exactly what AhhBoxxah is sitting there, and I think you're right. He will probably be able to finish this. Moving in, he's got no force field on the sentry, so that is going to be one benefit AhhBoxxah gets, trying to kite on these Zealots. Moving in with the SCVs, trying to take damage from the Zealots. The Immortals are going to be a huge part of this battle as they're moving in, dealing their 70 damage on the Marauders, just cutting in everything. Immortals playing such a big part of this battle, and the Zealots move right up, stopping any possibility of micro there by the Terran infantry. Everything getting cut down, and looks like that is it. GG, a very quick attack by Optikzero shuts the game down. Wow.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, again, other than the one mistake of maybe being a little bit too aggressive there, it's very possible he didn't know that large group of units was sitting right there, but he was able to recover nicely. All he lost was a few zealots, not a huge investment. He knew exactly what he needed to go up against. And again, another Protoss player utilizing those Immortals very, very nicely, not even needing to rely on the Colossus at all. I do think that he had those in production, or he had those at least preparing, and he did, as he had an extended thermal lance out, but he didn't actually have, he had one out on the field at that time. So that was pretty much the icing on the cake for him at that point. And that means that we see Optikzero picking up another game, and he could potentially shut it down here in Game 3 and really make a name for himself winning this BattleDex Team Liquid StarCraft 2 Open. It'd be impressive.
Yeah, I think AhhBoxxah has missed his timing twice, Game 1 and especially in Game 2. I mean, he missed his timing to shut down that natural expansion, and he also missed his timing in the second attack, not spotting that Colossus when he attacked, just charging into the spread out units, missing with the EMP. So I really think he should clean that up. And in Game 3, picking Steps of War, there's a lot of nice 2 racks timing attacks and a lot of 1 racks expansion, followed by 4 or 5 racks attack timings. And if he's going to want to play that kind of battle where you just build up an army, you say, I get this army and I attack. If he wants to play that timing attack style, he's going to have to make it more crisp. If he wants to play the more reactive style, then that's also viable. But what I've seen from the first 2 games looks like he just wants to make this this army at this time and attack, and it just has not worked out for him against the reactive style of Optikzero.